You ever wonder what it might be like to go play for the school that you just caused a bunch of problems for? Well, we're going to talk about today because a gentleman that we have on the show not only had an interception against us in 2021, but he also caused a lot of disruption in the backfield, which was not very kind of him. But luckily, we get to have it on our side now. Help me welcome in Justin Wright right around the corner.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things Cowboy and Cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stillwater. I'm going to be your host on this magical mystery tour we're going to take today with our newly acquired linebacker, transfer from Tulsa, Justin Wright. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing very, very, very well, man. So, we're just going to jump right off into it. The first thing I feel like it's fair to ask before we dive into some of the high school and recruiting stuff for you is it true that your nickname is Psycho?
Yes, sir, it is. I've had that nickname since Pop Warner, growing up in old Abilene, Texas and whatnot. And so when I got to college, my first starting year here, I got it tattooed on my thigh. So
really?
Yeah.
Now, please tell me that nickname came from you playing like a psycho and being a human torpedo and not caring about anything else?
Absolutely.
All right.
There's a pretty good story about it. I'm sitting there in my first practice, tackling Pop Warner and whatnot. And my defense coach comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, man, you're playing like a psycho out there." And I'm a little kid and, I wasn't the brightest, I guess you could say, or whatnot. But he tells me that, and I start tearing up and everything, and like I thought he meant it like as an insult.
Right.
My dad's sitting there like, "Justin, no, he meant it as a compliment. It means you're doing good. It means
you're welcome."
Yeah. And so sorry, my dog. From then, my nickname, I guess.
I love it, man. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about high school. You said you weren't necessarily the biggest dude. From what I've found, publications are kind of all over the place, but the general consensus is coming out of high school, you were like 6'2", 215, 218. Is that about right?
215. Yeah, that's pretty close.
And now you're sitting at 6'3", 245. You put on 30 pounds at Tulsa?
Yeah, I put on my freshman 15. For sure. And the past few years I've been working to lean up, I guess.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I didn't have bad size coming out of high school. I just wasn't recruited that well or that much, I guess.
You were a 2-star out of Cooper High School, correct?
Sure.
And you originally committed to Texas State, right? And then from Texas State you decided to go to Tulsa. Kind of break down a little bit of that recruiting process for me, if you would, and how you go from Texas State to Tulsa, because let's be honest, going from Texas State to Tulsa is a pretty good upgrade. So how did that kind of take place for you, and how frustrating was the recruiting process?
So I committed to Texas State before my senior year, and I was, it was good times. I was happy about it, whatnot. Took a visit to Texas State, and they lost one of their conference games. And so, whatnot, morale was a little low on that. And then after my last game as a senior, the next day, my parents sit me down and they had already talked to the head coach for Texas State. And they say that they're pulling your full scholarship offer, and they're going to offer you what is it's called a gray shirt.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Called a gray shirt. And at the time, not to be prideful or anything, but I had like 5 or 6 other offers. And so, I mean, and Texas State wasn't their record, at least wasn't the best. And so I got extremely frustrated and pissed off because I hadn't done anything. My level of play I was a senior. It was my best year in high school that I've had. And for them to do that, it lit a fire under me. And a couple weeks go by, maybe a week go by, signing days rolling around. I get a call from Coach Gillespie, who was a DC or just the linebackers coach, actually, at that time at TU. And the day before signing day, they give me a scholarship offer, and the next day I signed. And so
that's awesome. And you started immediately, right? Your freshman year, you had 62 tackles?
No. So my freshman year I redshirted.
Okay.
I played all 4 redshirt games on special teams. I think I had 1 tackle on defense. My sophomore year or redshirt freshman year, I don't.
Right. Same thing.
All special teams again. But I went in a little bit more on defense. And then in my mind, I thought I was going to be starting the next year. And it didn't look like that. And I wouldn't wish this on anybody, but my starter in front of me, he got an ACL injury. Super cool guy, and I love the dude, but he had an ACL injury, and they threw me out there, and I've been.
So that's the season you had 62 tackles?
22. Not 22. 2020.
Okay.
COVID year.
So, yeah, you obviously not only did you progress year to year as far as your weight, you're bulking up, right? But again, statistically, you went from 62 tackles to 84 tackles to 101 tackles, bro.
Yes, sir.
So, obviously, the production is never an issue. And that's the biggest thing you want to see out of a player, right? No matter where they are at the depth chart, no matter what school they're at, you want to see constant progression because progression eventually equals leadership. But before we dive there, I wanted to ask, what did you see in 2021 on that pick play?
Open field.
Yeah.
I'll give it to Spencer. I mean, we had some good corners and whatnot. So I don't know if nobody was open or if he had to get the ball all the way, or I know what actually our defensive linemen were getting some pressure. So he threw it right. He threw it right to me. And watching the film now, I don't know who he was throwing it to, but
he probably don't either, boss man.
All I know is that I caught it, and there was nothing in front of me. And if you watch the play, I am constantly looking behind me, making sure nobody comes up and does the whole freaking strip little thing, and because that would be my luck. That would be just my luck to have an open field interception, about to score, and I get freaking stripped.
Bro, the wide open ones are the hardest.
No, they're not. You just gotta be careful. You can't forget about the guys running from behind you.
I dig it. Okay, so we got a lot to cover, and I know you got to get to class. So give me a second real quick. We got to pay the bills, right? You got to pay the piper every now and again. So real quick, let me talk about one of our sponsors for the day. It's going to be LinkedIn Jobs. These days, every new potential hire is basically a high-stakes gamble, right? It's a wager for the success of your small business. If you want to be 100% certain that you have the access to the best qualified candidates, this is why we have LinkedIn Jobs. And that's why you need to go to LinkedIn Jobs and help find the right people for your team faster. Get rid of the guesswork. So your call to action, go to LinkedIn Jobs. It's going to help you find that candidate that fits your job perfect. Go to linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Again, that is linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free right now with terms and conditions applicable. All right. So let's just narrow down. Why Oklahoma State over? Because I know you had some places like Iowa State that are hot on your tail as well, and their defense, is pretty good about production. So why Oklahoma State over somebody like Iowa State per se?
Oklahoma State, for one, is a great defense. In my opinion, I've seen, being here in Tulsa over the past few years, 5 Whoa, 5 years.
Did you just have your "oh crap, I'm getting old" moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So you notice, I mean, how their defense is doing, and obviously Mike Gundy, he's a cool guy.
You were gonna say character. That's okay.
Yeah, he's a character. And so, me knowing, that they're known for having a pretty good defense, and they contended for the conference championship last year. Big 12 school, it's a Western town, all of that, and they're an hour away from where I'm currently at, which means an hour closer to
Right.
family back home in Abilene. I mean, and I took a visit there last weekend. And things went great.
I heard you loved it.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I got to try on some orange, which I don't have hardly anything in my closet. I got this little hat, which
That hat is slick. I was actually going to ask about that.
I'm not taking this hat off for a while, but it was a relatively easy decision just because the coaches were awesome. I mean, they were just down to earth and all that, especially Gundy, which I got to meet him over the visit, and I like him. And plus, I mean, my wife, she gets to keep her job here in Tulsa. So, I mean, she's got. Oh my Lord! Hey,
you get him.
Lord. My wife gets to keep her job here in Tulsa, which is an hour commute, and she'll make that drive, I think, 3 times a week or something like that. So,
okay.
I don't know.
So,
I was on board with it.
Did players like Malcolm Rodriguez and Devin Harper and Amen Agbagbamiga play a little bit of a part in that decision-making process, knowing we send linebackers to the league now?
Of course, with Malcolm being the most recent one, and Mason Cobb, Mason Cobb's a great linebacker too, in my opinion. And
oh yeah, he is.
We'll
always love Mason Cobb. We will.
Oh yeah,
right.
Good luck to him in the portal and whatnot. But
yep,
Malcolm Rodriguez being the first. Not first, but the latest one, to go to the NFL and actually make a hell of a name for himself.
Killing it, bro. He leads all rookies in points production. It's crazy.
And his luck being part of the NFL freaking what's the show that they
Hard Knocks.
Yeah, Hard Knocks. Yeah, I mean,
bro, that did this for his.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly, man,
I watched a little bit of it, and I felt like every time I watched it, he was getting praised on it and whatnot. And playing him over the past couple of years, I knew he was pretty good, and so I mean, I knew that Oklahoma State could turn out some linebackers to the NFL. So, well,
and it's got to be somewhat. I don't know if comforting is the right word, but to know that you're coming in with dudes that have experience, right? It's not like you're gonna have to coach up Xavier Benson, who's been doing it almost as long as you have, right? The same with Lamont Bishop. He's been on the squad for a while. He actually grades out as one of our highest in all linebackers in red zone. He's a beast in red zone package, bro. And then last year, Nicholas Martin played quite a bit, so we have faith in him. Before the season ever even started, we had Jeff Robertson pegged as most likely a starter. So you're not only going to have depth, which I know it does nothing but make you better. Right? That's the thing is some people go to places just for playing time without taking into consideration. If you don't have dudes next to you that are going to make you better, then you're doing yourself a disservice.
Of course.
So it is amazing that, yes, you mentioned Mason Cobb, right? He had 96 tackles, led the team. And wherever he goes, he's going to be successful. But then you see people like Xavier Benson that are more than bought in, right? That are bleeding orange through and through. And now you're coming in with 101 tackles. So all Cowboy faithful out there, chill out, calm down. Yes, Mason Cobb, it was a dude, but 101 tackles, that's hard to do in practice against the air without O-linemen. Like, that's impressive, brother. So how did that when did you see at Tulsa, what was that moment for you where it clicked? You're like, okay, I'm beyond good enough to do all this. Was it a Spencer Sanders pick in 2021?
I don't like to think of I like to think that my coaches put me in the position to make plays, and I just put my head down I put my head down and get my body right, get my mind right for the game. And so I can go out there and potentially or hopefully make plays. And I've had pretty good luck with it so far. I don't know if you would call it luck, but
I was about to say, I don't think luck's the recipe there, boss man.
I think with that pick, it was good luck.
Yeah.
That pick, I got super damn lucky. But no, I mean, I would much rather go to a program where there was, where I get to compete, where I get to, be surrounded by talent, in the linebacker room, on the defense in general, on the team in general. I love that. And I'm not going to be going into Oklahoma State thinking that I'm owed anything or, I've just been given something without having to work for it. I'm going to go. I'm going into Oklahoma State with, full intention on gaining some of these guys' trust, the coaching staff's trust, the fans' trust, whatnot.
Right.
And I'm going to work my
You can say it.
my ass off.
There we go.
And I'm going to love doing it. And hopefully I can be, considered one of the leaders on the defense, on the team. And that's just one of my goals, and I want to get to know the players. And I have a crap ton of brothers and family here at Tulsa.
Okay. Right. Yeah, of course.
I want it to be the exact same way at Oklahoma State. I mean, I want to have some family when this is all said and done. So, and yeah, playing time is, the big thing for me, considering that I have one more year left and whatnot. But I just want to ball out. I want to get our defense. I say our now. I get to say
hey,
our.
yes, Atta baby.
I don't know. I want to be able to contend for a conference championship. I want to play against these teams and know that I'm surrounded by all these talented, corners, D linemen, other linebackers, safeties, all of that.
Yeah.
Offense as well. I mean, Oklahoma State offense has been pretty damn good over the past few years, and I don't know. I want to come here. I'm pretty motivated right now.
I can tell. Well, and so I'm glad that you mentioned that. And it's an easy segue. Tell me, I feel like I know the answer, but I don't want to speak for you. What about the cowboy culture, which you've heard about for years, right? You've got to see a little bit of it firsthand. What about that exactly kind of helped you make this decision?
I mean, cowboy culture, man, it's in the name. As a West Texas kid, I grew up on, some ranches. I go hunting all the time. I used to have some livestock or whatnot, and
Roger.
I just love it. I'm a country guy. Tombstone's my favorite movie. It might not be. I take that back. It's probably my top 2 or 3 movie.
Easily.
I mean, hell, it's in my bio. I mean, I just posted about it yesterday.
I saw that.
I love it.
And that's our intro to every game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's literally, it's cowboy culture. It's a small town. If the university wasn't there, it would be an even smaller town. And so that kind of fit. That's right up my alley, and right up my wife's alley. And I love it. I don't know. I love the coaches there. They were awesome and everything. And the fans have been nice too.
It feels like a perfect fit, honestly, right? Because you're right. Our mentality has been, we're going to be a team where you grab your lunch pail, you go to work, and you go to war. It's just how it is. And
all right there.
Exactly. And you play for your brother next to you, which in today's age of college football, that's kind of starting to dissipate a little bit, right? You got these universities that think that just because they have an overabundance of financial resources, it's going to equal success. But I know you've been a part of some big-time locker rooms. Have you ever been part of a locker room that there was some dissension and you could tell things weren't tight and it did show up in prep for the week?
Of course. Multiple times in my career have I had a team where we weren't bonded as much, and it showed out on the practice field. And if it shows out on the practice field, it shows out on game day. And it's a struggle to, it's a struggle to get that back to, being a team thing, and whether you see NIL as a good thing or a bad thing, whatnot, it gives a chance for the players, name, image, and likeliness.
Yeah.
But it also, the money aspect of it kind of does, tamper with that a little bit. And
I'm sorry, Bob. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
The NIL stuff, it's just, it seems like it's getting some bumpers put on it to some degree, right? Self-imposed, like Oklahoma State University. I'm sure we have like 4 NIL departments now, and our new marketplace. To me, it's very, very cool because it's interactive, which I know for a fact you'll be a part of it, because I know that I plan with a few other dudes. We're going to put on a couple events in Stillwater just for players, and we're going to do it through that marketplace. So basically, what that is it gives people, fans, individual access to the players, right? Obviously,
right.
You're going to get paid for your services, but realistically, there's always been this degree of separation from fans and players. It just is what it is, right? We're the ones drinking whiskey, screaming up in the stands. You're the ones out there, bleeding, sweating, and giving your heart out. So this NIL thing that we're doing that is different than a lot of other places, giving you that access to players, to me, it's going to do nothing but grow the fan base. Because if people feel like they have a connection with something, it doesn't matter what it is, they're going to be more invested. I think NIL for us is going to continuously expand. It's like you said, whether people like it, love it, hate it, it doesn't matter. It's a necessity in today's college football era. And so it's either, you get in or you fit in or you die. So are we going to be handing millions of dollars over like Miami and A&M to win 5 games? No, we're not. We're not going to do that. But what we are going to do is make sure that our students, the ones who grab the lunch pail, go to work, go to war, we're going to make sure that they live comfortably, right? That you're not having to stress. So when I played college ball on like holidays, it was all ramen noodles and Totino's pizzas, my dude. That was it. And it's crazy how you go from eating good to being broke as all get out and not having. So I do remember those holidays being stuck on campus. It was miserable. It was absolutely miserable. So from that perspective, I see NIL as a massive benefit to students because it takes away stress, right? More than anything, you're not looking to build your bank account if you're into this type of workman philosophy, because that your work ethic, your morals, your integrity, your accountability, all that stuff is going to equal success in the future for you, especially with degrees in tow.
Yeah.
So speaking of the degree side of things, you have 1 year remaining eligibility. Is that your red shirt remaining year or your COVID remaining year?
That's my COVID.
Okay, tracking. Gotcha.
Remaining year.
And so I want to bring up, if you could give me a minute, I got to pay the bills again, and then we're going to talk about you being a married man, my guy. All righty, everybody. So, today has been going very well. I'm very excited, but we have to jump in real quick and let you guys know that if you haven't checked on betonline.net yet, you're doing yourself a disservice, right? Nowadays, we're trying to build the bank account a little bit. So go to betonline.net. It's your number one source for betting, sports, info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball, soccer to esports. BetOnline, we've got you covered. And if you love podcasts, guess what? We got you covered in that aspect as well. We're going to be the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix on a daily basis. Head to the website today. You can also use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline. This is where the game starts. And here at Locked On Oklahoma State, our job is to do what? Point you in the right daggone direction. So that's what we're doing. All right, brother. So as you're continuing this come-up game, you being a married man, that is awesome. And if you could tell the people how you and your old lady wife got together, I think that people would love to hear it because it needs to happen more in life.
I know, right? First of all, I married my best friend, and so that's always the easiest. But we how did we? Okay, so we met at a Sweet 16 party in Abilene. We're high school, by the way, freshman year. Met at a Sweet 16. She stole my number from a different girl's phone and whatnot, and we've been together ever since. Going on, it'll be 8 years in June. Got married in 2020 of June, so it's right around 2.5 years of marriage right now.
Right.
8 years total, almost. We're doing good. I mean,
have you had the opportunity to meet Brock Martin or Sione?
I haven't. I took a visit last weekend, and it was mainly coaches.
Right.
Actually, it was all coaches and stuff like that, and just a quick little visit. But I'm taking my official this weekend.
Okay.
Plan to meet some of those guys and get to know those guys and whatnot.
Brother man, I'm elated, to be honest with you. You were one of those people that whenever your name came open in the portal, and then as soon as Cobb left, ironically enough, you didn't see all these dominoes fall, right? Sometimes when you have a big transfer, then you see the string of people behind him. There is something cooking in hot oil in that locker room, because we've only had 2 really big time transfers leave. This has not been a mass exodus by any stretch of the imagination, which obviously, if you caught a little bit of the Lyrik Rawls show yesterday, that locker room is pumped for something, right? You don't have 90% of your roster come back for another 8-win season. It's just, you don't do that. When the expectation is to play for a Big 12 title, and the expectation is to be in Arlington, if these dudes didn't know that was a possibility, you would see more transfers, right? There are schools, I know you've seen them, that have 12, 15, 16, 22 transfers already. We are not in that light at all. So getting you was massive, right? Because instead of plugging a hole with a Band-Aid, well, now we don't even have a hole. It's more of a scratch, right? And you being right over there with Xavier Benson, with Lamont Bishop, with Nick Martin, with Jeff Robertson, they've all put in a lot of time to film, and it's all about the culture. I guarantee you're going to fit in very well, because you exude exactly what that locker room benefits from, right? Going and fishing and hunting, and then trying to take somebody's head off, and then also be able to kind of scale it down a bit. That is what Stillwater America is. And it has been for, 45 years, right? Like, this is, we're not always going to be the financial flashy team, but we don't have to.
No,
because we have a proven track record of success.
I don't even care about the money. I can't tell you how excited I am to come and be a part of this culture and this team. I've already I talked to Colin Oliver the other day. It might have been yesterday. I'm getting old. But he was super cool. I can already tell me and him are going to be tight, and that's how I want it to be with everybody.
It'll be easy, man. It'll be easy for you.
And I don't want it to be easy. I want these guys. I want to grow with these guys. And if it's easy, it's easy. But I'm fully expecting to go in there and have to prove myself like I always have. And I want to be close with these guys and go to Arlington, like you said. That's been a huge goal of mine. Here at TU. And we went in 2020, and I wanted to go in 2021, and obviously this year didn't work out that way. But it's never not going to be my goal. So,
well, and I'm sure that every player, I don't care who you are, right? We all go to college ball to do what? To make it to the league in some capacity, right? And when you have that type of work ethic, that's the thing, brother man. We need more psychos. I'm just being 100% realistic with you. If you go back and look at the game film last year, as great as Mason Cobb was, is quality of an individual and an athlete that Xavier Benson is, if you watch some of our blitzes, they're just a little slow. We don't get skinny enough going through the line. We're not there to take people's heads off. Kendal Daniels, I'm sure you know who that dude is. He's there to take people's heads off. Trey Rucker, transfer from Wake. He was out in the entirety of the season, but he's now back for the bowl game. And obviously he's going to have another full year. He's somebody, if you'll go back look last year, I don't know if he knows how to form tackle. He don't care. He just wants to drive through dudes. Like, that's his only objective. But we miss that this season. We have talent out the wazoo, but the aggressiveness, the filling the run gaps and stringing plays out for other dudes, right? Because sometimes you're busting up to make it string out even further to give Colin Oliver a tackle, right?
Mm-hmm.
We missed some of that this year. And it comes down to that bulldog, I don't give a hoot what's happening, I'm coming for your throat mentality. That is why above, the 101 tackles, that's great. Your 290 or whatever you have at Tulsa, phenomenal. But what you are going to be able to bring is exactly what we need, my dude. And then the other guy we just saw the other day, Ladarius Webb Jr., his dad, Ladarius Webb, played for the Ravens for 9 years. Yep. His highlight film's the same way.
He's a corner, isn't he?
He is, but he plays like a safety, bro. He plays like a madman. And it's like, okay, are we going to get a couple 15-yarders in Bedlam? Probably. But is it okay? Yeah, it is. I tell you, for all fans, 100%. I know the coaches might not love it, but, sometimes you got to stir the pot.
I agree.
So you guys had a couple big wins this season, right? I know it obviously didn't work out well for Montgomery, but can you kind of explain to me what you're looking for defensively? Because I know we have a 2-linebacker fit, which have you ever played for a 2-linebacker type of system?
I have not. Tulsa, we play a 3-3-5, and that's obviously all I know. But and that's another reason why I'm going to go in here this offseason and work my ass off and to learn this defense and know the ins and outs of it, know what every person on that field is doing, where they're going to be, where they should be, and how the ball is going to get where it's going and where we want it to go. And if it doesn't, where am I going to need to fit off of it? All of that. And I think even with me not knowing the defense, like I do to use, it's just going to be a big thing for me to know the defense and whatnot. So
are you going to be an early enrollee?
I am. I'll be
here
this January.
Baby. That's huge. That helps so much, right? Just like these bowl games.
Mm-hmm.
What I hate it when fans, yes, this year was a terrible disappointment of a season. We all get it, right? It is what it is. This is not the expectation in Stillwater, Oklahoma, right? 8 games is it's a failure. I'll just call it like it is. But even though that may be the case, bowl games are just like an extra spring, right? The bowl games are huge for underclassmen development. Massive. Oh, you're in trouble now.
No.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, you better get him. You better tell him like it is. Bro, I have a blast.
Yeah, you can talk. Oh. Just say hi.
You could say hi. That would be the Southern gentlemanly thing to do.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad you showed up. I'm sure it's a full-time job keeping Justin in check.
Of course. Hey.
Well, congratulations on the upgrade and the pay raise.
We're excited.
What I can tell you, we are excited. We are excited in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Like, again, man, the mentality that you carry, that's what we missed.
Right.
Talent is not an issue. Depth is not an issue on defense. It was just the aggressiveness. Like, I grade film, obviously, right? And there's hundreds, and I'm not being sarcastic, there's hundreds of times that our blitzing packages were just very, very slow. Like, not delayed blitzes, I get that, just the reaction, the read and react. And that's what made Malcolm Rodriguez, and still is making Malcolm Rodriguez the dude he is, his ability to see what's happening, see what's about to happen, and go there before everybody else. And what I like mostly, honestly, about you coming is that the two linebacker thing, it is new. So if you were to play it safe, you'd have went with the ACOC system at Iowa State, which is a 3-3-5, or West Virginia is a 3-3-5. But you didn't do that. You went for the home run. And it's a risk, right? Because with two linebackers set, you have a little bit more responsibility than typically, right? You don't have that outside linebacker to kind of help you shade on the tight end. So I love the fact that you're attacking this head on, just like Ladarius Webb Jr. We're bringing in more than we're losing as far as talent goes. So we're very, very grateful. We're very happy that you chose Stillwater. I love the nickname. But before I got out of here, I got to kind of do my job. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask, are you bringing Justin Goodlow with you? I mean, what's the deal here, boss man?
I don't know. He's actually my roommate.
Bro.
But
come on now.
So it would be perfect if he came along. But I mean, he's got to make the best decision for him, and I'll support him either way. But I do know that he's coming on his official this weekend with me as well, and that.
Bro, that would be massive because I'm sure you just saw Trace Ford after 197 knee injuries. He's leaving Oklahoma State, right? Mm-hmm. And he was a dude. He was an NFL caliber dude. He just, when you have both knees replaced and then your kneecap replaced, it's hard to work through. So, and if you see our defensive ends, they're typically pretty productive.
Mm.
So, yeah, this is my recruiting pitch to Mr. Goodlow. So you can pass this along if you would like. Right?
Okay.
It's not you doing it. It's us doing it. Because, again, it's not talent, right? And we rotate our defensive ends more than anybody else in the conference. So if you're looking for playing time and you're looking to capitalize, Colin Oliver is a good example. Tyler Lacey, good example. Emmanuel Agba, right? The list, it's coming together. But we do need a little bit more, right? And he's 6'4", 295?
Something like that.
Maybe under Rob Glass?
280, maybe.
280? He'll be 290 with Rob Glass, no problem.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, for you, how exciting is that to be able to work with the top strength and conditioning coach in the United States?
That's going to be awesome.
You worked out like a psycho too? Is that?
So yes. One of my best off seasons was this past off season, and so I mean I got my body almost to where I wanted it to be, and then season came along, and because you can't work out that much in season because games, whatnot. But
wear and tear.
I looked for him on Twitter today actually. And he doesn't have a Twitter, or at least I don't think he does. But I'm extremely looking forward to getting coached up and worked out by him.
As are we, brother. As are we. And yeah, the early enrollee thing, I think that's going to allow you to get up to speed. So before we skedaddle, I do got to ask you one more question.
You're good.
What was it like the first time you had the chance to interact with Derek Mason? Because he's a legend in the game. He was honestly not even close. Oklahoma State University's biggest coordinator hire in the history of our program by a mile. So clearly we're invested in being successful. We're invested in living up to the expectation of going to Arlington at least every other year, at the very least. What was your first interaction with him?
My first time meeting him was this past visit, and it was on the field actually. And
nice.
I'm not big on social media, and I'm not good with names or I'm a faces type of guy.
Roger.
I knew he looked familiar, and this is my fault. I should have done my research, obviously. But I mean, Joe Bob's the one who called me, and Mike Gundy. Obviously, if you don't know Mike Gundy, then
right, yeah.
But he comes up to me on the field, says his name. His name sounds familiar. He looks kind of familiar, and my dumb self goes and asks, what do you coach? What coach are you? And he's like, I'm a defense coordinator. And I was like, oh my God, nice to meet you, coach. Pleasure to meet you, man. I've heard a lot about you, whatnot. And I just it wasn't my brightest moment.
All right. Hey, you know what? It's gonna work out though, because that's first impressions are big. He's gonna be like, oh yeah, the guy who didn't know who I was. Until you start doing crazy stuff, it'll be erased immediately, brother.
Hopefully to regain some of the likeliness back from him.
Easy, man. All you got to do is pop on the film, brother.
Right.
You know? And it's not like the American Athletic Conference is a sham by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
Right? They have dudes going to the NFL every single draft cycle, and quite a lot of them. Cincinnati has a massive name. Houston built themselves up until whatever the hell they're going through this season. I don't know. I don't know what's happening over there this year, but Cincinnati, with or without Luke Fickell, obviously with Fickell, they're going to continue to be a major force. But even without Fickell, I think Cincinnati has elevated themselves enough to continue the trajectory. So that's actually a really cool thing. My bad. I don't mean to keep you too long, but
you're good.
You're going to be able to come into the conference season next year as the only dude on the roster who knows all the ins and outs of Houston and Cincy and UCF.
Right.
So out of the AAC conference foes that you've been facing the last few years, which one of them are you most excited to play against this coming season? You have a get-right game, a get-back game.
Out of Houston and UCF?
Houston, UCF, and Cincy.
Probably UCF or Cincy.
Really?
Honestly, UCF, I've always had a great game against. And,
okay.
My first year starting, we played y'all the first game because of COVID and lots of canceled games and whatnot. I think we played a total of 9 games or something.
Yeah.
But we played y'all for the first game, and then we played UCF, and that is the game where I kind of made a name for myself. And
gotcha.
So, and they didn't like me that much. Their Dylan Gabriel was a quarterback at that time. He has anger management issues, but
he has throwing it to receivers issues as well, but that's no big deal.
But don't want to speak ill of him, but
I'm tracking.
I in my opinion, I have a good track record against UCF. So
cool.
And I mean, since Cincy, I play good against Cincy too. I mean, we haven't been able to beat them yet, but
okay.
But yeah, I always play good against Cincy and UCF. I've only played Houston one time actually while starting, so it's not bad.
So I got 2 more for you. Number 1, what is your primary objective this offseason with Rob Glass?
With Rob Glass to get swole.
Do you want to gain 5 pounds, or you want?
I mean,
or are you just trying to cut down 4 pounds and get rid of some of the?
I'd like to maintain weight wise, but lean up and just get swole, I guess.
How's your cardio game?
Cardio, yeah, it's good.
All right.
Not as good as any other 6'2", 240 linebacker that, whatnot.
And then other than the obvious, going to Arlington, playing for a Big 12 title, what is your biggest personal goal, right? Is it get over 100 tackles again, or do you want 7 sacks or 7 picks, or give me in an ideal scenario, what stat would you dominate this coming season?
I think goal-wise, I would like to be on the Big 12 conference, team or whatnot, or the all-conference team or whatnot. And
Big 12? Tackles
is a big thing. Interceptions is a big thing. Fumble recoveries, forced fumbles, sacks, TFLs, all of it. I mean, I want to contribute the most I can. I want this year to be the most I've put into a season ever, and I'm going to work like that. I'm going to work this off season with that in mind, and I'm going to try to be the best I can be.
I love it. I love it. That was kind of a politically correct answer, but I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, Justin. Well, I know you got to get to class. It's crazy. The student athlete, sometimes people forget that the student part exists.
Right.
So I will let you go do that, sir. But is there anything else you want the people out there? And just like I told Lyrik last night, we have audience members in Ireland and Finland and Austria. I don't know how, but we do. So what would you like to tell the world about anything?
I'm your Huckleberry.
I love the Tombstone references. Bro.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Well, anyhow, I greatly appreciate your time, brother. I know Cowboy fans are very, very, very excited. You were on the bucket list for every O State fan. This is no joke. I'm not sunshine pumping here. As soon as we lost Mason Cobb, right? The very first name that was all over the place was Justin Wright. And so, of course, I do my job and I dive into the film and I read some of the articles. Your transition from when you got there to now, it's massive. So that fits exactly with what we want to accomplish in Stillwater, which, again, we have to be in Arlington. It's Arlington or bust. And everybody on that roster knows it and they feel it. And we as fans, we can't wait to see it. Are you going to go to the bowl game?
I'm not entirely sure on that yet.
Okay.
But it's a possibility. It is.
Easy.
It's a possibility.
All right, brother, man. Well, let the fine people know. I know you said you're not a big social media guy, but for NIL stuff, you're going to have to watch your DMs, my guy. So why don't you tell the people out there how they can reach you, how they can follow you, and how they can get in contact?
Twitter. Twitter's probably the best one. Instagram's a little hard to navigate sometimes just because it's not as easy to see stuff on it. But I'd say Twitter.
And what is your Twitter handle?
Justin Wright _30, maybe, I think.
I think that is exactly accurate.
Okay.
Too easy. All right, brother, man. Well, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for making Stillwater, Oklahoma, the place where you're choosing to enter the psychotic / all Big 12 realm. We're more than fine with it, brother. Because again, talent's not an issue, but that mentality of we're going to step on your throat in the third quarter and we're going to make the fourth quarter miserable for you. That's what we've missed this last season. So it's a breath of fresh air. So thank you for your time. We cannot wait to see what you're doing. Everybody out there in Cowboy Nation, say hello to our newest linebacker. And then also say goodbye to our newest linebacker. As we wrap this thing up, guys, it's pretty simplistic, right? 2023 is going to be massive. It's going to look a lot like 2021, and it's going to start with the defense. I don't care if I play quarterback. What we accomplish next to our defense is going to carry the load. So if you like 2021, I think 2023 is going to be even better. So thank you all. As always, I love you. God bless. Go Pokes. And I'll see you on the next one.